Well guys, it is that time of year again, and it is a good time to be a gamer because over November and December every year, there are a ton of game releases coming out that pretty much drain the wallets of millions of gamers, but of course at the same time it makes me extremely excited and extremely happy that this time of year has rolled around again. But every year around this time I try to compile a list of 5 games that I think you guys should really keep an eye out for whenever you're looking at what you want to buy this holiday season, and I think that I've compiled a pretty good list of 5 and I'll go into those in just a minute. But before we get really deep into this, I want to emphasize 2 points. The first of which is that this entire video is one giant opinion. I don't want any comments down below saying that, oh, you're wrong, you know, yada 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 is going to be the best game of the year, 2015 game of the year, give it all the awards. If you have that opinion, that is perfectly fine and I would love to hear about it down below, but don't tell me I'm wrong just because of the games that I like to play. And number 2 is that launch issues can be terrible and some games are just buggy and bad games in general, and I might be wrong on some of my choices, and I don't want to take any responsibility for you guys having any troubles with any of the games that you say that I told you to buy. So I don't want to be liable for any of that. Of course, I hope the best, and I hope that all these games are launched without any issues whatsoever and that we can all just sit down and enjoy the game. But of course, as we all know, looking back to last year with Assassin's Creed Unity and the Halo Master Chief Collection, that's not always the case. So taking those 2 points into account, let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 games that I think you guys should keep an eye out for this holiday season. Now, the first game that I want to talk about is Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which actually came out in late September. I believe it was on September the 23rd, if I remember correctly. But this is an absolutely huge game, and one of the things that I love the most about Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, obviously Ground Zeroes is pretty much the same thing, but with The Phantom Pain is that it combines elements of a whole bunch of different genres, 3 main ones that I could identify. So you've got the stealth genre, which of course you're playing on pretty much just one base in The Phantom Pain, and you can wander around and kill people in very stealthy ways. You can go up behind someone and strangle them out. You can use silencers on your guns, and that's definitely one way to go about playing the game. There's also the action-packed side of things where it's a very high, action first-person shooter at some points. There's tons of car chases, there's tons of explosions, and different ways that you can go about manipulating the enemy into thinking something else. You can go about killing the enemy in many different ways, and that's one of the ways that Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain just really shines above the rest. But there's also some elements of a little game called Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, and I'm not sure how many of you will actually remember this game, but it is pretty famous amongst the gamers in the gaming industry, and it came out on the PSP primarily, and I believe it came out on the PlayStation 3 in some parts of the world, but it had elements of a strategy game almost, where you could upgrade different parts of your main base, and then that base would provide different in-game I guess you could say bonuses, where you'd be doing a mission, you can call in some kind of supply drop and you could get extra ammo, some food or something like that. That kind of element is also included in the Phantom Pain, and it adds a completely new gameplay experience that you wouldn't normally get if you were playing just Ground Zeroes, for instance. So the Phantom Pain has a lot of genres smashed into one and hundreds of hours of gameplay just because of the way that you can go about the missions. You can do them in many different ways, many different times, and get a completely different experience each time you do it, which is something I really admire in a game. So if you're looking for something that combines a lot of different styles of gameplay into one little package, you might want to pick up Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which again is available now actually. Next up, Halo 5 Guardians, which is probably my most anticipated game of the year, is coming out on October the 27th, and this one is really interesting because of the campaign itself. Master Chief has always been the main protagonist in the Halo franchise, and for this one, Halo 5 Guardians, he's actually gone rogue and has left UNSC and is kind of doing his own thing of what he thinks is right. And of course, Spartan Locke has been assigned to chase after Master Chief and try and take him out, which is a very interesting dynamic and something that really switches up the campaign of the Halo franchise, because for the most part they all follow trying to blow up a Halo ring and save the human race, except for Halo 4 had a little bit of a different kind of thing with the librarian and stuff. But generally this is going to be a very interesting campaign, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. As far as multiplayer goes, obviously this is a 343 Industries game, so it's not going to have that classic Halo feel, but it is going to feel a lot like Halo 4 of the gameplay that I've seen, and for me that's personally really a good thing, because like I said, I love the way 343 is doing their thing, and I think that they have a pretty good grasp on how to make Halo multiplayer very fast-paced but still very entertaining, and there are a lot of different abilities and boosts that you can use to really, get an advantage over your opponent, and I think that it's going to be maybe the best multiplayer experience of the year, and I can't wait to see it when it comes out next week, because that's one that I will be buying on day one. So next up, Fallout 4, the game that has had tons of anticipation over the last couple of months. a lot of people are excited for this game, is coming out next month in November. And the main thing I want to point out in this video is that there is no level cap for Fallout 4. So pretty much you can play this game indefinitely forever, which is something we don't normally see, because normally level caps pretty much signify that you have completed everything there is to complete in the game, and Fallout 4 kind of just turns that on its head, and it's like you just keep playing until your heart's content, which is definitely really cool. Obviously the story is not going to last that long, but at the same time, after you finish that main campaign, you can just wander around the wasteland of Boston, killing different kinds of enemies, exploring the wasteland itself, and just having a generally fun time. And it sounds like something that could really suck some hours away. But this looks like a really good game. If you've ever wanted to play a post-apocalyptic shooter in a wasteland around Boston, it's definitely going to fulfill that need if you have that specific of a need. But one thing that's cool about this is that the different iconic locations around Boston still stand in the game. So you could go to different kinds of ballparks, you can go to different kinds of locations around the city in general. I've never been to Boston, so I don't know what's there, but they have actually done a, one-to-one scale of Boston, which is something that's really cool and a fan service to those living or visiting the area. So it looks like it's going to be a great game. A lot of people are excited for Fallout 4, and Bethesda is pretty good about releasing a quality game, and of course it's been in development for a very, very long time, so I don't see this one being a letdown anytime soon. Next up, Star Wars Battlefront, which I was considering not putting on the list, but after playing the beta of that game on the PlayStation 4, I have to say that I was actually blown away by how good it looked and how deeply I felt integrated into the Star Wars universe. I don't know, I was playing Walker Assault on Hoth, and I genuinely felt like I was in one of the battles on Hoth, which is something that's really hard to nail, especially whenever the movie only had a certain aspect of that scene. So DICE and EA pretty much had to go in and just develop that kind of scene and make it into its own kind of game, which I thought was really cool. I have a couple of concerns with this one. I want to point those out in this video. On the PC version of the game, there is no in-game voice chat and there are no server browsers, so if you're playing on PC, you can't go through and select what kind of server you want to play on based on any kind of game type, based off of any kind of, player population. You can't really select that for yourself. It's more of a generally random selection. But other than that, if you're playing on console especially, this one looks great. It runs very smoothly if it runs like the beta, and obviously it's not going to be full 1080p because they did sacrifice some pixels for 60 frames a second, which I think was a fine sacrifice. But if none of that bothers you and you really just want a pretty much Star Wars battle simulator, you definitely want to check out Star Wars Battlefront, especially considering the DLC that's going to be coming out that integrates with the new movie coming out with the older movies. Generally, it's pretty much just Star Wars fan service combined with Battlefield, and it feels just right. Next up, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So this one I was kind of controversial about. I didn't really get excited for it until I started watching gameplay of it last week, until I started seeing what Ubisoft had done, and now I have to admit I'm pretty hyped to play this game. So the main reason I'm excited to play this game is that it feels like the Assassin's Creed fans' game. And what I mean by that is that there are pretty much two ways to play Assassin's Creed. You can go with the classic way that really pays service to the original Assassin's Creed game, where it's very stealthy and you have to be careful about how you do things. And that is going to be fulfilled through Evie Fry, who is the main character's sister, and she's going to be the stealth aspect of Assassin's Creed. And then you've got Jacob Fry, who is what you come to expect from Assassin's Creed at this point, where it's, huge battles in the streets, tons of guns firing, explosions, high action. That's what you're going to get with Jacob, and it's nice to see that Ubisoft acknowledged that there are two different kinds of people that play their games, and they've made two different kinds of experiences to satisfy both parties. Generally, as compared to past Assassin's Creed games, I have to say that this one has a deeper story. You can traverse the environment in a much quicker way as compared to the previous games, and there's just a lot of general enhancements that stand above the rest of the Assassin's Creed games, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen of the gameplay. I haven't played the game, but it's nice to see that they've shipped out these review copies pretty early, and a ton of people are getting keys online, especially for top YouTubers, just to play the game and to get behind it. The missions I've heard are amazing, the story I've heard is very good, and the scenery in general is beautiful. I'm really digging the way Assassin's Creed Syndicate's looking, and I can't wait to check it out whenever it comes out this week. Finally, a couple of honorable mentions that I just couldn't make this video without at least throwing a couple of words in about these games. And the first game is Black Ops 3, and I'm pretty excited about how this one's going to turn out, and the main reason I'm excited is the movement. And what it does right is that it takes what Advanced Warfare tried to do and combines it with what Black Ops 1 did amazingly and makes a new kind of movement system. So of course, Advanced Warfare was the first Call of Duty game to really put that Titanfall-esque feel into a Call of Duty experience where you got boosting, thrusting, and generally moving around the environment in a much quicker and fast-paced way. And it takes all of that and combines it with the nice, solid movement system of Black Ops 1, and it makes it to where Call of Duty feels like classic Call of Duty while having that fast-paced, flying almost action. Because with Advanced Warfare, there weren't really that many ground battles. You pretty much just had to jump around and shoot when you could. But with Black Ops 3, it feels like you can still go back and play it like Modern Warfare 2 while combining it with elements of Advanced Warfare, and it keeps that fast-paced feel, and generally it's a pretty good feeling game. As far as the campaign goes, unless you're playing on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, it looks to be pretty good. I haven't heard that much about the campaign, but it's pretty much what you would come to expect from a Call of Duty campaign at this point, and that's pretty much what I'm expecting from it myself. With zombies, it's pretty much exactly what you would expect from the standard zombies experience. There are going to be new maps, new Easter eggs to uncover, and different kinds of things like that, but in general, it feels like they've taken Call of Duty and ramped it up to a next level, as opposed to just staying stagnant like it has the last couple of years. So in general, I'm excited to see what Black Ops 3 has to bring to the table. Finally, last but not least, Just Cause 3, and I really wanted to put this game on my top 5s list, but I couldn't select one of my top 5 to knock out and put Just Cause 3 in for, but I just had to mention it in this video. If I had to describe it, explosions, killing, destruction, environmental damages, everything that you would come to expect from an adrenaline-packed rage is in Just Cause 3. And of course, there's a parachute, a huge grappling hook, grappling one thing to another and watching it fly to the other thing. Just Cause 3 is an action-packed game that I'm really excited to play, and I hope that it turns out really well, and of what I've seen, it definitely will. Actually, NerdCubed, a popular YouTuber, has been playing it for the last couple of months. He actually got invited out to Square Enix and has been playing through the game and doing a whole bunch of different destruction stuff, and he hasn't said anything bad about it, and that's a really cool thing. If you're playing it on the Xbox One, if you buy Just Cause 3, you get Just Cause 2 as a backwards-compatible Xbox 360 game for free, so you can get a ton of destruction. I played through Just Cause 2, really enjoyed it, and I hope that the same kind of thing continues with Just Cause 3 going forward when it comes out later this December. So there you guys have it. I hope you've enjoyed my top 5 games to look forward to this holiday season. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what your top 5 are for this year. Are you going to be buying Fallout 4? What games are you really excited for? Does Just Cause 3 appeal to you? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other videos, I upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week depending on the week. So there's always something new right here on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'm going to go wait for all these games to come out. Maybe I'll play some The Walking Dead or something like that. But thanks for watching. Peace.